Okay, this is the 3-year anniversary of us buying the property, so I'm doing my annual trek of showcasing the property. And this is the road we live on, which is a dirt road, which is slated to become an asphalt road in hopefully maybe the near future. I don't know yet, but that's the rural highway that our road intersects on. There is the stake in the ground that we had the surveyor do about a year ago, and then one of the holes that Andrea wanted me to put into the ground for the bad juju is right at that location. If you want to know what that is, I have a separate video on that. I think I called it I can't believe what I do for my wife or something like that. But let's go. So here's the property here. As you can tell from the last video, last fall the electric company came in and did their maintenance because this was all overgrown, full of weeds and up and coming pine trees and stuff. And so the electric company has to come in every so often and clear it out. Now, since they were able to do that, we have a brush hog. So now I can come through with the brush hog and I can keep this maintained. So what I'll do is about twice a year or so, I'll come in here and I'll brush hog this, and then now won't ever get an unruly mess again. And so, as you can see now, the gap of the trees, that's where the actual farmland is. I don't know if you can see it, but my truck is there. And I'll get to that when I get over to there on why it's at that location. And so, just keep going. And so, except for the brush getting cleared, this is pretty much what it is. This is our nice little buffer. So we have a little buffer from the road. And so here's the power pole here. This is the power pole that Andrea Mother has her power connected to. And then this is the area. Let me zoom in to normal. I zoomed out in that area because you had the really tall trees and I could only go back so far. But this is the area that we had cleared last year. It was all the way to where the shed is there, all the way over to here. It was this all scrubby brush and stuff. So we had the person that took the trees out that we had to do a couple years ago, and he just cleaned all that brush for us. Then there's our nice beds. The bed on the left has Andrea's rhubarb, which looks like it's doing good. The bed on the right has asparagus, and most of the asparagus has come up. 5 out of the 9 crowns have come up there. We recently had to put, we were using straw, but the weeds were getting through the straw, so now we just got regular mulch and just heavy mulched it. Right here are our new fig trees. We got 2 small ones and 1 big one, and so far they're seeming to love life. They've been in the ground, I want to say about 3 weeks now. And so now we're at the end of the property, which is at the stake there, which is close to that telephone pole. That's our internet right there. And then this is the telephone pole that power goes to our property. And the light is on the outside for some reason, so I have no idea why, so I'll have to shut that off. And then here's the west side of our road here. So let me hop over and get over there, and then I will resume. Okay, this is the northwest corner of the property. And you can see the fig trees there. Reason the fig trees are there is there's an assumed electrical easement, because as you can see, that's where the electric company makes sure that there's no trees or anything. And then the trees are gonna hopefully grow up and be pretty big trees. And so we wanted to keep them off of that easement. And then we have another assumed easement which goes straight to our electric meter right there. So the trees have to be a certain distance from there. So it was like a perfect wedge spot to put 3 trees in. And so that's why the fig trees are where they are. Now, last year we had a line of blueberry plants. You can see here, that's where the blueberry plants were. And we took them out, and then we acquired some more blueberry plants, which we'll get to in a second here. The blueberries, unlike most fruit trees, they need low pH. So the native pH here is in the low 5s, which is really good for blueberries. And so here's all the blueberries here. And so all the big ones in the back, a neighbor of ours found a place. They were like, I think 20 bucks a piece or something. We got 7 of them. And they're pretty big. These here are blueberries that we've had for like 2 years now. These were Tractor Supply blueberries, and they're coming along good. Obviously they're not as big as the new ones. And then we also had the Tractor Supply ones that we had down there that now we have here. So we're in the process of trying to mulch this entire area. They say if you use pine bark mulch, not the needles, but the tree and the bark itself, that will actually lower the pH. All right, now this is getting kind of big and brush here, so I'm actually going to come down a little bit here. I don't need to deal with ants and potential snakes and stuff, so I'll come out over here where I can actually see. All right, now I'm in the 5-acre field now, which we own all of this 5 acres. And then here's the corner of the property. You can see the chicken coop in the back of the house and the greenhouse and everything. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop instead of walking all the way down and just go to the corner of the property. All right, now I'm at the southwest, and the farmer cultivated this about a month ago, so it's still kind of soft, kind of like beach sand. So it's a heck of a haul to get up here. And Andrea's bed juju holes are in here somewhere. The property line, or the stake, is somewhere around here, because it's about 40 feet from the corner right there. We had the surveyor, when they surveyed it, we had them locate that fence in that corner right there. So in case I needed to get to this corner over here, I could be able to do that. But this is the southwest corner, and so you can see all the stuff. And so slowly but surely we're adding more stuff to the property. So I'm going to go out and actually go over to the corner over there. And so I'll walk over there and then I'll continue. Okay, we're on the southeast corner now. And at the time I put Andrea's bed juju hole in. This was not cultivated, but it's obviously cultivated now. The farmer came back in and recultivated on the other side of that swale over there, I think last week. So that's why this looks different. But yeah, this was not cultivated before, and this dirt was extremely difficult to get through. So the corner of the property is about where I'm standing right now. And so I measured it out, but wanted just to show what this is. This is a little avenue here. And so the county bought this property, which was actually originally attached to the property that we own, in 1992 to put the tower in. And all of this where the trees are in 92 was farmland. Then when the county bought it, they just let it go fallow. And so that's what happened. So see, 92. So yeah, this is about what, 35 years of not doing farmland looks like. It just looks like woods. Now this over here, as far as I can tell, has always been woods. So this was never farmed. The oldest photo that we have goes all the way back to the late 90s. So it was before the county bought that piece. So this was always not farmland. And so as you can see, there's the back of the house. So I'm going to go down now to the back of the part where we actually own and go from there. All right, and this T-post represents our theoretical part of the property that we actually control. So even though we own all of this, the farmer pretty much does all of that, and then we do everything over on this side. So here's my new and improved swale here, which has unfortunately not been tested yet because we have not had enough rain for it to test. This is my swale extension that I've started, where I wanted to get the swale and extend it on down, and then hopefully get it out so we can have less standing water when it does monsoon. And then here's our little buffer zone, because when the water comes up and floods, it floods about half of this. And so I don't want to get this into the garden area, so that's why we have our little buffer. Then this front area here, this is where the garlic and onions were last year. So I wanted to make it fallow for this year, so we don't put too much stress on the ground. Then you can obviously see all the elephant garlic and everything. You can see over there's the potatoes, where we're going to need straw put on the rest of the potatoes. But then behind it we have the carrots and the beets and stuff, so all that's good. Now let me zoom in a little bit. That is our newest acquisition right there, which is a full dump truck full of manure. And then over where my truck and trailer are, somebody was getting rid of a bunch of old hay. So it was hay that animals couldn't eat anymore, but it was dry, so it was still good, at least for what we need it for. So we're going to use it as the brown part of our composting that I'm going to start doing. I'm going to do videos on that. Never successfully composted before. Oh, there's lay pants. And so that'll be good. Now, from last year, that's our version 2 of greenhouse. We had 2 20-foot greenhouses. Those got destroyed in our little mini blizzard because evidently 6 inches of snow was too much for the greenhouse. And so we got that one, which is a 30-foot greenhouse. There's Sherlock. And then the other big thing is our new gate here. So let me go back a little bit. So the gate, this was a continuous fence piece right here. And so what we did is we had this gate, and we had all the braces and the posts and everything, and they were just sitting over there next to the kennel, and they were just sitting over there not getting used. And it's like, we need to have a way to get into the field and not have to walk halfway around the world to get there. So we were able to put the fence up or put the gate up and still keep the tension on the fence, which was important because I didn't want to have to retension the fence. So as you can see here, the fence is still taut, which is good. And then I wanted to move my little weather station and stick it in a permanent spot and not have it in the middle of my grass area over there. So chicken tractor is back where it belongs. Right now I'm using the chicken tractor for weeding purposes, so when it gets a little unruly in there, I let sisters out and then they mow it back down for me, and then the circle of life continues. So there's the chicken coop, obviously. And we just took the panels down a couple days ago, and so now, since it's getting warmer, the sisters can have a little bit of more breeze. And then as it gets warmer, we'll have the windows open and all that. That's Ern complaining, as per usual. So anyway, that's about it. Everything that we've done. Oh, I'm going to start doing composting later today, so I'll have a video on that. And so we have about 24 cubic feet of manure, and then we got, I think, about 25 bales of straw. All right, for some reason Ern is not happy. And so that's what we're doing. And then I don't know if you could see it, but behind the big coop is we have our little prison coop that we did. So I'm about ready to do a video on that. Unfortunately, I couldn't do a piecemeal video because we wanted to paint it before we actually put it together. So, all right, I'm gonna go turn that light off. So that light's probably been on all night for some reason. And then I can go in, have some lunch, and I can have Andrea tell me what I did wrong on the small coop. But yeah, that's the 3 years. Hopefully, if the garden stuff goes well, we might actually be taking over this back part here, you know, hopefully in the next couple of years, because we have a greenhouse that we want to get, and we'll need to expand the garlic, etc., etc. So that's about it for 3 years. So some days I'm like, we've done a lot in 3 years, and other days of like, we still have so much stuff to do, but I guess that's how it goes. So happy 3 years.